what's up? I'm right in the middle of giving a swim lesson. What are you wearing?
Is that Sean?
CHiPs wasn't just highway patrol, it was highway warfare. The two stars refused to film scenes together. One actor's ego nearly killed the show 5 times. And the motorcycles everyone loved, they sent people to the hospital every single week. These are 20 secrets about CHiPs, hidden for decades.
Lincoln.
10-4 Golden State Unit 7 Mary 3 and 4 are in pursuit.
When Erik Estrada showed up for his first day on CHiPs, producers assumed their new star playing a California Highway Patrol motorcycle officer could actually ride a motorcycle. That assumption almost killed him. Estrada had lied during his audition, claiming he had extensive motorcycle experience when, in reality, he'd never been on one in his life. He thought he could learn quickly, figured riding couldn't be that hard, and desperately needed the job after years of struggling actor poverty. The first time Estrada mounted the massive Kawasaki police bike, he nearly dropped it in the parking lot. Crew members exchanged worried glances. During the pilot shoot, Estrada's inexperience showed constantly. He couldn't balance properly, couldn't shift smoothly, and nearly crashed during simple riding shots. Producers realized they'd been conned, but were already committed. They hired motorcycle trainers to work with Estrada privately, teaching him basics between takes. For the entire first season, Estrada was essentially learning to ride while filming a show about professional motorcycle cops. Stunt coordinators had to design shots hiding his incompetence, using doubles for anything requiring actual skill. Close-ups of Estrada on stationary bikes, wide shots of professionals riding. The illusion worked because editing hid the truth, but everyone on set knew their star was faking his way through the show's most essential skill, one mistake away from serious injury or exposure. Larry Wilcox didn't come from acting school or theater. He came from Vietnam. Wilcox served as a Marine, saw actual combat, watched friends die, and returned home with trauma he'd carry forever. Acting was therapy, a way to process what he'd experienced by pretending to be someone else. When he landed the role of John Baker on CHiPs, Wilcox brought military discipline to a Hollywood production. He showed up early, knew his lines perfectly, treated work like a mission. He expected the same from everyone else and was disgusted when he didn't get it. Wilcox viewed Hollywood as frivolous, full of narcissists playing dress-up, while real people suffered real problems. He had contempt for actors who complained about hard work, for producers who wasted money on vanity, for an industry that worshipped fame over substance. His castmates noticed immediately. Wilcox didn't socialize, didn't attend rap parties, didn't play the Hollywood game. He did his job and went home to his family, wanting nothing to do with the celebrity circus. This attitude made him respected, but isolated. Crew members appreciated his professionalism, but found him cold, unapproachable. And when Erik Estrada arrived with his ego, his lateness, his Hollywood bullshit, Wilcox's contempt found a target. From day one, Wilcox saw Estrada as everything wrong with the industry: fake, shallow, unprofessional. The hatred was instant and mutual, setting up a feud that would nearly destroy CHiPs before it even found its audience. Those beautiful Kawasaki motorcycles looked perfect on camera. Gleaming chrome, powerful engines, symbols of California, cool. But they were nightmares to actually ride, especially for stunts. The bikes were heavy, over 500 pounds, difficult to maneuver at slow speeds where most filming happened. They had high centers of gravity that made them unstable during tight turns or sudden stops. And because CHiPs featured motorcycle action every episode, crashes, chases, jumps, the injury rate was staggering. Stunt riders were hospitalized weekly. Broken bones, concussions, road rash, serious injuries became routine. The production kept 2 ambulances on standby during action sequences because accidents were guaranteed, not possible. Insurance companies threatened to drop coverage multiple times, horrified by the casualty reports. Producers didn't care. The motorcycles were the show's identity, and they'd keep using them no matter how many people got hurt. Erik Estrada learned this the hard way during season 3 when he attempted a stunt himself against everyone's advice. He crashed violently, breaking multiple ribs and suffering internal injuries that required surgery. The accident shut down production for weeks and nearly ended Estrada's career. But here's the darkest part. Producers were more concerned about production delays than Estrada's health. They pressured him to return before he'd fully healed, threatening to replace him if he didn't. Estrada came back too soon, still in pain, still injured, because staying meant survival in an industry that viewed broken bodies as acceptable collateral damage.
We had a really good time doing it.
What about you?
No, I enjoy it. I'm always grateful. You know, you're happy when a policeman comes up to you and says that,
Okay, so I guess they don't want us in there, too bad. Then I found out later they did use Erik, and then I see Erik at the red carpet event. Just tacky.
By season 2, the feud between Erik Estrada and Larry Wilcox had escalated beyond professional disagreement into pure hatred. They stopped speaking off camera entirely, communicating only through intermediaries. Then they stopped filming together, literally. Wilcox refused to be in the same room as Estrada during rehearsals. Estrada refused to acknowledge Wilcox's existence between takes. Scripts featuring Ponch and John together, the show's entire dynamic, became production nightmares. Directors would film Wilcox's side of a conversation, then wait for him to leave before bringing Estrada in to film his responses. Scenes supposedly showing them riding together were shot separately and edited to look simultaneous. Close-ups, reverse angles, clever cutting, all used to hide the fact that the show's 2 leads couldn't stand being near each other. The deception required enormous effort. Writers had to structure episodes minimizing their shared screen time. Editors worked overtime stitching together conversations from separately filmed pieces. Guest stars were brought in to give each actor someone else to play against. And still, the tension bled through. Watch later seasons carefully, and you'll notice. Ponch and John are rarely in the same frame. When they are, there's distance, coldness, none of the camaraderie the show supposedly celebrated. Fans sensed something wrong but couldn't identify what. The truth was simple. Television's most famous partnership was completely fake, held together by camera tricks and mutual loathing. 16. The show's creator. Hired only bikini models as guest stars.
Hey, what's up? I'm right in the middle of giving a swim lesson. What are you wearing?
Is that Sean?
Rick Rosner created CHiPs with a simple formula: motorcycles, action, and women. Lots of women. Every episode featured female guest stars, and Rosner had one casting requirement: they had to look good in a bikini. Acting ability was optional, irrelevant even. If a woman was beautiful and willing to wear revealing clothing, she got cast. The result was a parade of models, Playboy playmates, and aspiring actresses chosen entirely for their bodies. Scripts were written around excuses to show skin, beach scenes, pool parties, car washes, any scenario that justified skimpy outfits. The objectification was blatant, shameless, and extremely popular with the show's primarily male audience. Ratings proved sex sold, and Rosner delivered it weekly, but the casting policy created a hostile environment for women on set. Serious actresses who wanted real roles were rejected for not being sexy enough. Women who got cast were treated as props, their characters given minimal dialogue and maximum exposure. Some embraced it, viewing CHiPs as a stepping stone to bigger opportunities. Others felt degraded, objectified, reduced to body parts for camera leering. Erik Estrada loved it, flirting constantly with guest stars, using his celebrity to pursue women who appeared on the show. Larry Wilcox was disgusted, seeing the policy as further proof of Hollywood's moral bankruptcy, and Rick Rosner defended it all, arguing he was giving audiences what they wanted, which he was. The question nobody asked was whether what audiences wanted was worth the cost to the women providing it. 15. Erik Estrada demanded top billing and nearly got fired CHiPs.
His brakes are gone! Didn't we just see brakes again the citation about 2 minutes ago?
You have to go through
A lot.
finesse.
A lot. They used to wind me up and I go boom.
Still have any scars or bruises from that time?
Premiered with Larry Wilcox receiving top billing. His name appeared first in credits, his character introduced first in the pilot. The reasoning was simple. Wilcox had more experience, more credits, and tested better with focus groups. Erik Estrada was the newcomer, the unknown, lucky to have a job. But audience response flipped the hierarchy. Viewers loved Punch, Estrada's charismatic Latin heartthrob motorcycle cop. Fan mail poured in for Estrada, while Wilcox got polite appreciation. Teenage girls screamed Estrada's name. Magazine covers featured Punch, not John. By season 2, Estrada was the breakout star, and he knew it. He demanded renegotiation, top billing, higher salary, more screen time. Producers refused, arguing contracts were contracts. Estrada walked off set, refusing to film until his demands were met. Production shut down. NBC panicked, knowing the show couldn't survive without its star. They pressured producers to cave, offering Estrada everything he wanted, but Wilcox had a contract too, one guaranteeing top billing. Changing credit order required his consent. Wilcox refused out of spite, knowing it would torture Estrada. The standoff lasted weeks, finally a compromise. Both names would appear simultaneously on screen. Neither above the other, it satisfied nobody. Estrada felt cheated out of recognition he'd earned. Wilcox felt disrespected by Estrada's ego. And the feud that started over professional disagreement became personal, permanent, and poisonous. 14. Stunt coordinators, qui-opt weekly. Because of Estrada's recklessness, after his near-fatal motorcycle crash, Erik Estrada should have learned caution. Instead, he became more reckless, convinced he was invincible, and determined to prove his toughness. Estrada started demanding to do his own stunts, refusing to let professionals handle dangerous sequences. Stunt coordinators would design safe action scenes, explain risks, and assign trained stunt performers. Estrada would override them, insisting he could do it himself, arguing audiences deserved authenticity. His ego convinced him that real stardom meant real danger. The problem wasn't just Estrada risking himself. It was him endangering everyone around him. Inexperienced riders doing complex stunts created unpredictable hazards. Other stunt performers had to adjust on the fly, compensating for Estrada's mistakes mid-scheme. Camera crews were put at risk when Estrada lost control. The liability was enormous, and stunt coordinators quit constantly, refusing to work on a show where the star actively sabotaged safety protocols. Those who stayed did so for the paycheck, documenting everything to protect themselves legally when Estrada inevitably got hurt again. And he did, repeatedly. Minor crashes, near misses, injuries that were covered up to avoid production delays. Each incident made professional stunt performers angrier, feeling disrespected by an actor who thought courage could replace training. Estrada never understood their frustration. He saw himself as dedicated, willing to sacrifice for his craft. Everyone else saw a narcissist playing with other people's lives. 13. The show was investigated for racism in casting and storylines.
Oh, okay, we're here.
John?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Hey, Fresh, put out a code 4 and roll 1141. And grab the fire extinguisher.
CHiPs premiered in 1977, with Erik Estrada playing Frank Ponch Poncherello, one of television's few Latin leading men. It seemed progressive, representation that mattered, but Latino advocacy groups saw something different. A stereotype. Ponch was the hot-headed one, the emotional one, the one who chased women and acted impulsively. John was calm, rational, professional, white. The dynamic reinforced harmful stereotypes about Latin men being passionate but irresponsible, needing white guidance to function properly. Advocacy groups filed complaints with NBC, demanding better representation. The network ignored them until protests grew louder, attracting media attention. Investigators examining the show found more problems. Guest stars were overwhelmingly white. Criminals were disproportionately minorities. Storylines featured Latin characters as gang members, drug dealers, or comic relief. The pattern was undeniable, and NBC was forced to respond. They promised diversity initiatives, hiring consultants, and mandating more inclusive casting. It changed nothing. Producers resented the interference, viewing it as censorship and political correctness. They made token efforts, adding a few minority characters and background roles, but the fundamental dynamics never shifted. Estrada was caught in the middle. He took pride in being a Latin star, but recognized the character's limitations. He pushed for more nuanced Ponch storylines, asking to play scenes with depth instead of just machismo. Writers ignored him, and Estrada eventually stopped fighting, accepting that CHiPs would never be more than surface-level representation. 12. Larry Wilcox. Quit. Because he couldn't stand Estrada. One more day.
10-4 Golden State Unit 7 Mary 3 and 4 are in pursuit.
The official story is Larry Wilcox left CHiPs after season 5 to pursue other opportunities. A mutual parting where everyone wished each other well. That's completely false. Wilcox quit because working with Eric Estrada had become psychological torture. He couldn't endure another season. By season 5, the two men communicated only through assistants. They'd arrive at different times, use separate entrances, eat in different areas. When forced into scenes together, the hostility was palpable. Crew members described the set as a war zone, everyone walking on eggshells, terrified of triggering either star. Wilcox reached his breaking point during a scene that required physical comedy between Ponch and John. Estrada improvised, grabbing Wilcox in a way not scripted or rehearsed. Wilcox shoved him back violently, and they nearly fought on camera in front of the live audience. Security intervened, separating them, and production shut down for the day. That night, Wilcox called his agent and said he was done. No negotiation would bring him back. He didn't care about money, about his contract, about career consequences. He would not spend one more day near Eric Estrada. Producers tried everything: more money, separate filming schedules, promises to keep them apart. Wilcox refused. He walked away from steady employment, from a hit show, from financial security, because his mental health mattered more than a paycheck. And he never regretted it, later saying leaving CHiPs was the best decision he ever made. 11. The replacement actor was hired to humiliate Estrada.
The California Highway Patrol. This job is crucial. Without us out there, come on. This job is crucial. Without us out there, come on.
When Larry Wilcox quit, producers needed a new partner for Ponch. They could have cast someone complimentary, someone who'd work well with Estrada and restore the show's chemistry. Instead, they hired Tom Riley to play Bobby Nelson, specifically to punish Estrada. Riley was everything Estrada wasn't: formally trained, theater-educated, respected by serious actors. He was also everything Estrada feared: younger, more conventionally handsome, potentially more popular. Producers knew this would threaten Estrada's ego, and they weaponized it. They gave Riley prominent storylines, romantic subplots, and heroic moments designed to make Bobby more interesting than Ponch. They leaked to press that Riley was the future of CHiPs, implying Estrada was replaceable. The strategy was cruel but effective. Estrada spiraled, becoming paranoid that producers were phasing him out. He demanded script changes minimizing Bobby and emphasizing Ponch. He refused to film scenes where Riley looked too good or too heroic. The set became even more toxic than it had been with Wilcox, with Estrada now fighting producers instead of his co-star. Riley, caught in the middle, tried staying professional but grew frustrated with the dysfunction. After one season, he quit, exhausted by the drama and unwilling to be used as a weapon in someone else's war. CHiPs had now driven away 2 co-stars in 2 years, proving the problem wasn't them. It was Estrada's ego, producers' manipulation, and a toxic environment nobody could survive. 10. The show's budget was laundered through fake motorcycle repairs. CHiPs went through motorcycles constantly, legitimately destroying bikes during stunts and crashes, but financial audits later revealed something suspicious. The show claimed to repair or replace 3 times more motorcycles than actually existed on set. Invoices showed payments to motorcycle shops for parts and labor that never happened. Money supposedly spent on bike maintenance disappeared into shell companies with no physical locations. Producers were running a scam, inflating repair costs and pocketing the difference. The scheme worked because NBC didn't question motorcycle expenses, assuming the action show naturally required high maintenance budgets. Accountants approved invoices without verification, trusting producers weren't stealing. The fraud continued for years, funneling hundreds of thousands of dollars into personal accounts disguised as legitimate production costs. When an internal audit finally caught discrepancies, NBC faced a choice: prosecute their own producers and create a scandal, or quietly shut it down and absorb the losses. They chose silence, firing the producers responsible without public explanation and burying the evidence. The stolen money was never recovered, the perpetrators never charged, and the scandal never became public. CHiPs continued filming like nothing happened because in Hollywood, protecting the brand always mattered more than justice. 9. Eric Estrada's contract demanded he never look bad on camera. Eric Estrada's ego manifested in his contract through bizarre, specific clauses dictating exactly how he could be portrayed. He could never be shown sweating excessively, even during action scenes. His hair had to maintain perfect shape regardless of circumstances. He couldn't be filmed from unflattering angles or in harsh lighting. Most importantly, Ponch could never be wrong, never be outsmarted, never look foolish. This created impossible writing challenges. How do you create dramatic tension when one character is contractually protected from failure? Scripts became contorted, bending logic to ensure Ponch always emerged victorious and attractive. If a scene required him to be dirty, makeup artists would artfully smudge him just enough to suggest work without actual grime. If storylines needed conflict, John or guest characters had to be wrong while Ponch was vindicated. Estrada employed someone whose only job was monitoring filming to ensure contract compliance, stopping production if Estrada looked less than perfect. Directors hated him, cinematographers mocked him, but everyone obeyed because Estrada had power. The vanity destroyed any pretense of realism. Ponch wasn't a character, he was an airbrush fantasy, and everyone involved knew it was ridiculous but powerless to change it. 8. The show's family-friendly image hid rampant cocaine.
Hey, Bruce! God. I go away for a few years and look what they do. You look great. Quirks. Hey, Bunch. Hey.
It's been a long time, Bunch.
John,
CHiPs sold itself as wholesome entertainment, safe for families, cops who helped people instead of shooting them. Behind that image, the set ran on cocaine. Not everyone, but enough that it became normalized, expected, part of the culture. Eric Estrada was known to use between takes, disappearing to his trailer and returning energized, talking rapidly, pupils dilated. Guest stars were offered lines in dressing rooms as casually as coffee. Crew members dealt openly, knowing production assistants and lower-level workers needed stimulants to survive 16-hour days. The 80s cocaine epidemic hit Hollywood hard, and CHiPs wasn't immune. Producers knew and chose ignorance, as long as everyone showed up and delivered. The hypocrisy was staggering, filming public service announcements about drug dangers while high, portraying cops fighting drug dealers while using the same substances. Nobody saw the contradiction or cared. One infamous incident involved a guest actor overdosing in his trailer between scenes, paramedics called quietly, and production continuing after a brief delay. The actor was written out, the incident buried, and CHiPs rolled on. The family-friendly show about heroic cops was powered by the same drugs they pretended to fight, and that secret stayed hidden for decades. The producers running CHiPs claim motorcycle expertise, selling themselves as knowledgeable about bikes, stunts, and safety protocols. They were lying. Most had never ridden motorcycles before creating the show, learning just enough to sound credible while making dangerous decisions based on ignorance. This incompetence had fatal consequences. During season 4, a stunt rider named John Hagner was killed performing a jump that experienced coordinators had warned was impossible with the equipment provided. Producers overruled safety concerns, insisting the stunt would work because it looked good on paper. Hagner died on impact when the motorcycle landed wrong, exactly as experts predicted. Production shut down for one day, then resumed. Hagner's death was ruled accidental, blamed on unforeseen circumstances rather than producer negligence. His family received a settlement with non-disclosure agreements attached, ensuring they couldn't speak publicly about what really happened. It wasn't the only death. Over 6 seasons, 3 stunt performers and 1 crew member died in CHiPs-related accidents, each one preventable if producers had listened to experts instead of prioritizing spectacle over safety. The death toll was CHiPs' darkest secret, buried under liability settlements and gag orders, never publicly acknowledged because admitting the truth meant admitting manslaughter. 6. The show was a recruiting tool for California.
This is Francis Poncherello, Eric Estrada.
My character name is Francis Poncherello. His character.
Vehicle is a black 76 Carrera, 1 occupant.
Highway patrol ships wasn't just entertainment. It was propaganda, carefully designed with California Highway Patrol cooperation to make their organization look heroic, competent, and attractive to potential recruits. The CHP provided motorcycles, uniforms, technical advisors, and filming locations in exchange for script approval rights. Every episode had to be submitted for CHP review, with officers able to demand changes to anything portraying them negatively. Storylines showing police corruption, excessive force, or incompetence were rejected. The show became sanitized cop fantasy, where every officer was noble, every arrest justified, every interaction with the public positive. CHP recruitment numbers soared during CHiPs' run, with young people applying specifically because the show made Highway Patrol look exciting and glamorous. The partnership was genius marketing disguised as television, but it also meant CHiPs could never tell honest stories about policing, never explore systemic problems, never show the reality of law enforcement. It was advertisement masquerading as drama, and audiences never knew they were watching carefully constructed propaganda designed to make them admire and trust an organization that had editorial control over its own portrayal. 5. Eric Estrada slept with dozens of fans and bragged about it.
Hey!
Hey, what's up? I'm right in the middle of giving a swim lesson.
Oh, sorry.
Eric Estrada's heartthrob status brought hordes of female fans to set tapings, public appearances, and anywhere he went. Estrada exploited this shamelessly, using his fame to sleep with fans, then bragging about conquests to anyone who'd listen. He kept detailed records, reportedly a notebook rating women's performances and appearances. Between takes, Estrada would scan crowds for attractive women, have assistants bring them backstage, and proposition them with promises of private time with their idol. Many accepted, starstruck, and manipulated by power dynamics. Crew members grew disgusted watching Estrada treat women as disposable, hearing him share graphic details, seeing him discard fans after getting what he wanted. Some women were underage, lying about ages to meet Estrada, creating legal nightmares producers desperately contained. Lawyers paid settlements to families, securing silence when situations threatened scandal. Estrada never faced consequences, protected by his star status and an industry that enabled predatory behavior. His co-stars knew, his producers knew, everyone knew, and nobody stopped it, because CHiPs needed its star more than it needed to protect vulnerable fans. The abuse continued for years, hidden behind autographs and photo opportunities, until Estrada's fame faded and the access disappeared, leaving behind countless women with stories they were paid never to tell. 4. The show's cancellation was punishment for Estrada's behavior.
You know that stunt, as you put it? It was sheer poetry in motion, old buddy.
You're crazy, you know that? I mean, you...
Stay in there, baby. Don't quit me now.
CHiPs didn't end because of low ratings. Season 6 averaged decent numbers, profitable enough for renewal. It ended because NBC executives were finally done enabling Erik Estrada's nightmare behavior. His demands had become unreasonable, higher salary than the show's budget could support, creative control he wasn't qualified to exercise, and contract clauses that made production nearly impossible. He'd alienated every co-star, driven away competent producers, and created such a toxic environment that crew members refused to work on the show. NBC faced a choice: give Estrada everything he wanted and watch the show collapse under his ego, or cancel it and be done with him forever. They chose cancellation, announcing it publicly as a creative decision, while privately celebrating being free of Estrada. The network banned him from future projects, blacklisting him informally by warning other productions about his behavior. Estrada's career never recovered. After CHiPs, he couldn't find work beyond low-budget exploitation films and reality television. He blamed everyone else, never understanding that his own actions had destroyed his opportunities. NBC's punishment was complete. They took away the platform that made him famous and ensured he'd never get another one, leaving him to fade into obscurity while the industry moved on without him.
Do it again for Punch.
One time. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Listen, I'm sorry I'm late. I tried to be... That's the guy. That's my cue.
Me too.
After quitting CHiPs, Larry Wilcox disappeared from Hollywood almost entirely. He didn't chase fame, didn't beg for roles, didn't play the game. Instead, he used his earnings to start businesses, invested wisely, and built a life outside entertainment. While Erik Estrada struggled through career decline and financial problems, Wilcox thrived quietly, becoming a successful entrepreneur and family man. His prediction that Hollywood was toxic and unfulfilling proved correct. The industry that worshipped Estrada's narcissism ultimately discarded him, while Wilcox's discipline and values sustained him. In rare interviews, Wilcox speaks about CHiPs with detachment, neither praising nor condemning it, just acknowledging it as a job he did before moving to better things. He has no regrets about leaving, no nostalgia for fame, no interest in reunion specials or retrospectives. He watched from afar as former co-stars struggled with addiction, bankruptcy, and irrelevance, grateful he'd escaped before Hollywood destroyed him too. Wilcox's story is the anti-Hollywood tale, the man who walked away from stardom and won by every measure except the ones the industry values. He's healthier, wealthier, and happier than anyone who stayed, proof that sometimes quitting is the smartest career move possible. CHiPs marketed itself on spectacular motorcycle action, crashes that looked dangerous because they were dangerous. While the show claimed safety protocols protected performers, the truth was grimmer. Many crashes were under-rehearsed, performed by stunt riders given inadequate time to prepare because production schedules demanded content regardless of readiness. Riders were pressured to attempt stunts they'd explicitly said were unsafe, told they'd be replaced if they refused. The replacements were often less experienced riders willing to risk anything for screen time and paychecks. This created a race to the bottom, where safety became optional. Crashes that looked brutal were brutal. Bodies slamming into pavement, bikes tumbling across highways, impacts that caused concussions, broken bones, and internal injuries. Medical staff treated injuries off books to avoid insurance problems and OSHA investigations. Stunt performers were given pain medication and sent back to work, their suffering invisible to audiences watching spectacular action. The worst crashes made it to air because they looked amazing, proof that real danger creates real excitement. CHiPs traded human bodies for entertainment value, and audiences never knew the blood behind the stunts they applauded. Decades later, former stunt performers reveal chronic pain, disabilities, and trauma from a show that treated them as expendable. Their sacrifice is forgotten once the cameras stopped rolling.
Something about that guy I don't like.
Could be worse.
How's that?
The official CHiPs story is wholesome. Two motorcycle cops, best friends fighting crime and helping citizens. A feel-good show that made people smile. That narrative was manufactured through collective lying. Cast members gave interviews pretending they got along. Producers claimed safe, professional sets. Networks promoted family values while ignoring cocaine use, sexual exploitation, and financial fraud. Everyone with knowledge of the dysfunction stayed silent, bound by contracts, NDAs, and fear of industry retaliation. The few who tried speaking truth were discredited, labeled bitter or crazy, their stories buried under official denials. CHiPs succeeded because everyone agreed to lie about the feuds, the drugs, the deaths, the abuse, all of it hidden behind smiles and press releases. Television history remembers CHiPs fondly, a nostalgic piece of 70s and 80s pop culture. But that fondness is based on fiction, a carefully maintained illusion designed to protect reputations and profits. The real CHiPs was darker, uglier, more dysfunctional than any storyline it portrayed. And the biggest secret isn't what happened behind the scenes. It's that everyone involved worked together to ensure audiences would never know the truth, creating a legacy built on the agreement to keep lying forever. CHiPs looked like California sunshine, but ran on secrets, crashes, and carefully managed lies. 6 seasons of highway heroes hid feuds, fraud, and people broken by fame they couldn't handle. Because sometimes the biggest crime isn't what's on screen, it's what everyone agreed never to show you.